I go into a match against an opponent and I know I'm going to wrestle. I'm not going to take a bird to the ring with me on my shoulder or a snake or an alligator or anything like that. Wrestling is wrestling, and professional wrestling is how I make my living.
Barry Windham.
Big BW.
God damn. So I became aware of Barry, I don't know, right around the time that he was, I know it would have been a little bit before he got into the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
And I remember the first thing I saw him do, and it might have been the first time I saw anybody do it. He was suplexing guys off the third turnbuckle. And I think they called it the Widowmaker, or they called him the Widowmaker. I can't remember, but I know that word was used in conjunction. And I watched that, and I almost shit my pants with just like, he's gonna kill this guy. I don't know how you get up from this move. I don't know how the guy giving this move gets up from this move.
I think that what you're saying is absolutely 100% straight shoot, man. That guy, he just, to me, Barry just had it all, man. And he would put you on that rope the way he did it. It just, he would put the guy on the top rope. It was, I think Bob Orton Jr. had done that superplex, and it was on the second rope. But the way Barry done it, I think the guy actually stepped all the way up to that top rope as he was bringing him over. And Barry's like 6'6", man, you know.
Yeah,
and
he's a big
once
man.
He started filling out too, he was, like you said, a big man. That's exactly what I was going to say. And I always thought, and I know we're going to get controversial on this, and that's fine, because some people have already mentioned this in one of our earlier podcasts when we done our greatest rivalries and things. And that's when, the Four Horsemen, that to me, when Barry was a part of it, that to me was my favorite version of the Four Horsemen, if you will, when it's Flair and Anderson and Tully and Big BW back there.
You know, I'm going to say Arn and Tully and Rick and me and JJ, who, you know, which is so many people's favorite, you know, that I've heard. But we clicked so well, and you know, we never had to talk over anything because we say it all the time. We're fans, and I watch stuff, a lot of stuff that I watch and listen to interviews. I was listening to Wrestling Memories a few years ago, and one of the guests was J.J. Dillon, and I thought it was great because he was talking about, you know, different people that went through the Horsemen. And he was really putting over Barry Windham as an individual. And then I watched some YouTube stuff, and Arn always puts over Barry. Flair always puts over Barry. Everyone puts over Barry, you know.
Barry Windham struck me as probably, he's a phenomenon. Again, Barry would stay up all night. Barry would have a beautiful girl on his arm. He would stay up all night. He could go an hour, 90 minutes if he had to wrestling. Never went to the gym. And to be so big, he could do the strongman stuff, but he was as polished as Brad Armstrong. He was the all-around cowboy. And sweetheart of a guy.
Maybe 86 through 89. Man, if you watch any Barry Windham matches, you will not see a bad match. He is just phenomenal. He could drop kick, he could suplex. Like I said, he started filling out at that point. Good psychology, had that good look to him, and he worked as a face and as a heel. I think Flair might have turned on him there, and they'd done some things together. And I remember Barry, like, you know, bleeding and get clothesline over the top rope, and just the bumps he was taking was fucking phenomenal. And I know we're sitting there talking about how over he was, but the bottom line was, I still think he was underrated. So I'll leave it at that, and you fellas in some more from your views of Barry.
Yeah, I kind of think Barry Windham was kind of a victim of timing more than anything else. Because, I mean, he won the NWA title, but the NWA title wasn't the NWA title anymore, you know?
Yeah, you've told me that before. I don't really, why don't you tell me a little bit about that if you don't care, if you have a minute?
He beat the Great Muta for the NWA title, at Super Brawl 3.
Okay.
And he was champion from 93 to 94. So, but it was, the early 90s was a down time for wrestling. Not a lot of people were watching it. And by this point, you know, the NWA title was starting to not mean as much. So he was kind of out there.
Flair, you walked away from it one time before, and you're not man enough and will never be man enough to take this championship away from me.
You know, his time in the Horsemen, he was in during a good time a good time for wrestling, but he was the second guy to come in as the fourth guy in the Horsemen.
Right.
So he kind of missed out there, you know.
How about it, Big Bear? You know, I'll tell you what, When I used to be over on the other side watching what was going on over here, I used to get butterflies. I used to talk to the Road Warriors and Sting and Luger, and they always used to say, golly, guys, what are we going to do tonight? Well, I'll tell you what, when I'm on this side looking over there at y'all, I don't have butterflies because we all know for sure exactly what's going to happen. Horseman style, it's going to be done in this cage, and I guarantee you there's going to be some people hurting and crying and bleeding over there. Isn't that right, Double A? Come on up here. Come on. Spread out.
Him and Mike Rotunda had a hell of a tag team.
Oh, yeah.
But since the 80s, tag teams have been a spot of diminishing returns continuously.
Yeah.
Every 5 years, the tag team division becomes less and less meaningful, probably starting in 85 or 86.
Well, he and my sister were newly married, and we're really close friends, and I knew if I was making $150, he was making 100. So, I just wanted to keep him and my sister fed too. So I just shot it past Vince, and he said, yeah. So here came Mike.
So, he was in a big tag team run with Mike Rotunda, but it didn't really hit. I mean, I think they were champs in a couple different places too, but it was nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then they take, in the mid-90s, he rejoins the WWF, and they give him some stupid gimmick as the Stalker.
Yeah, I remember something about they like hide behind a damn tree and camouflage or something.
And
it was brief. It's brief.
And they would say things like Barry Windham as the Stalker character, so they were kind of using him to blow up kayfabe a little. I don't know. That was just fucking weird. And then they put him in the new Blackjacks.
Oh, that's right.
With JBL, and it was a time period where I think the Rough House Cowboy. Well, first off, they did that at the WWF. And you know how the WWF feels about Southern gimmicks.
Yeah.
So
believe me, I do.
So to them, a cowboy gimmick is kind of a horseshit comedy spot anyways.
Yeah.
And, the Blackjacks work in the 70s and early 80s. They don't really work in the late 90s. Nobody right now wants to be a cowboy when they grow up, or, you know what I mean? Not nobody, but it's not like being a gunslinger isn't something you're spending your life thinking about.
Right.
So, I think Barry Windham was just a victim of timing because he was a big, look, in Florida, he was over as fuck.
Oh, fuck, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We talked off earlier, but I went back when I got down there to train, I went back and watched a lot of tapes and stuff. And now, of course, I went back again, as we've talked about off the air. We're such fans, you read stuff, I'm gonna go look this up, and you watch some of the stuff. He was over huge in Florida.
Yeah.
Windham caught him with a lariat. Windham caught him. He pinned him. Barry Windham just pinned the NWA World Champion Ric Flair. He did it. Match or not, he pinned the champion.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I think you really the big broad picture once listening to you. And I forgot about that Blackjack, so I'm glad I let you finish that. That is, he might have just been a victim of timing, man. Everything was just, some things happen to different people for different reasons. And it's not that Barry Windham didn't have the size, strength, talk, the talent, the look. He was just underrated, and maybe it all had to do with just the timing of every little gimmick that come along, or every little push he started to get,
Barry I think here was Barry's deal. If Barry had $5,000 in his pocket and the keys to a Porsche sitting out back and a chick scheduled to meet him, he was set. That's as far as his ambition went.
Right.
Because Barry could have been the very best for as long as he wanted to be. He just, Barry would work a while, take some time off. Work a while, take some time off. This business, as you know, everything is momentum.
Right.
You're off TV for 6 months, you're out of mind. I don't care who you are.
Right.
And I think if he had one shortcoming, and I don't think it is, because as it turned out, Barry married a very wealthy girl, got a couple beautiful babies, beautiful girl, South Georgia. I think they own half of South Georgia, for God's sakes. It worked out for him. But wrestling, Barry was a dream.
Right.
Order Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boots Will Travel by professional wrestler Bobby Blaze Smedley. Go to Amazon.com and get your copy now. It's a powerful and insightful 5-star memoir available to download or in paperback print editions.
lost on the road somewhere. Was it Texas or was it